A land of extremes, where fire and ice clash. Ancient mountains give way to lush forest. A forgotten wilderness, dazzling in its diversity. Seasons of darkness and perpetual light reveal life thriving against all odds. In this hostile realm, young creatures must grow up fast. Winter has held Scandinavia prisoner for many months. Locked in ice and silenced by bitter Arctic winds. Finally, slowly, it begins to loosen its grip. Longer days and warmer weather transform the land, uncovering a whole new world. But these gentle seasons will be over all too soon. For countless new arrivals, the race for life is just beginning. In the northern forests of Finland, a female brown bear explores her transformed world. During the depths of winter, she's not been idle. She has managed to produce a litter of 3 cubs. Swimming comes instinctively. There's been a flush of new plant growth, and their mother wastes no time in teaching the cubs what the forest has to offer. Having lived off her stored body fat during the winter hibernation, it's essential that she take full advantage of these fertile forests. Despite their reputation as top predators in their world, bears are omnivores. Plants make up nearly 90% of their diet. But lessons in nutrition are short-lived. For the cubs, life is just fun and games. The forest may seem like an idyllic playground, but for their mother, it's a place full of danger. Lurking in the shadows, another bear is eyeing the new family. Adult bears are solitary, but with nearly 1,000 roaming these forests, there's always a chance for paths to cross. Like lions, male bears may kill the cubs of unknown females so they can mate with them and pass on their genes. For the cubs, today's picnic is over. Their mother knows the risks. This male might be their father, but if he's not, just months into life, these cubs could be facing death. With winter now in full retreat, the change in seasons unveils Scandinavia's epic diversity. Five countries make up this remarkable region, spanning much of the Northern Hemisphere. The frozen north lies within the Arctic Circle, but further south, the warmer weather has transformed the landscape, bringing an explosion of new growth. But it won't last long. The race is on to reproduce and grow before the next freeze begins. Animals and plants must make the most of the rich, short seasons. Even Iceland's barren realm has shed its winter cloak. The landscape bears the scars of its seismic character. Though the rugged coast seems inhospitable, it offers a sanctuary for a mother and her new arrivals. A litter of 10 may seem excessive, but it's not unusual for the Arctic fox. Survival here is far from certain. A large litter helps ensure that some will make it. Just days old, these cubs are totally reliant on their mother's care and protection. It will be 3 weeks before they can leave their den. Even in spring, the outside temperatures never reach more than 10 degrees Celsius. But in the warmth of their hideout, the cubs can gain vital strength. For foxes, bringing up the young is a joint effort. With the mother busy nursing, it's her mate's responsibility to find food. But he left days ago and has not yet returned. She will soon have to go in search of food herself. Without food, She cannot produce milk for her young, and without milk, they will starve. Even in Finland's more abundant forests, life is fraught with uncertainty. The mother bear and her 3 young cubs face a potentially lethal threat. An adult male is far too close for comfort. She's trying to put some distance between him and her cubs. Bear fights can be deadly, but a mother will fight to the bitter end to protect her cubs. She needs to be sure this male is no danger to her young. Last year, she may have mated with numerous males. If he thinks he's the father, he won't attack the cubs. It appears her efforts have paid off. This male could well be one of her previous suitors and the possible father. He's certainly not interested in attacking them. He just wants to feed in peace. One last warning, and she's satisfied that he poses no threat. For the cubs, this first brush with danger is just a hint of the challenges ahead. They will remain with their mother for as long as 3 years, mastering the survival skills needed in the forest. 2,500 kilometers west of Finland lies the biggest island in the world. 80% of Greenland's total area remains under a blanket of glacial ice year-round. The Greenland ice sheet is millions of years old and perpetually on the move. An inhospitable realm. Yet life does exist in this seemingly barren land. The harsh cliff faces provide a temporary home for summer tourists. Barnacle geese have returned to the Arctic shores. They spent the winter off the Scottish coast, where the climate is mild compared to Greenland. They nest precariously on stone towers, many returning to the same sites year after year. Teetering on the edge of a 50-meter drop may seem an unlikely place to raise a family. But their motives soon become clear. Every move attracts the attention of vigilant predators. These new parents are raising a brood of 5 recently hatched chicks. Visitors are not welcome. Up high, the geese can cheat the hungry foxes. They're safe from danger here, but also a long way from the vegetation they need, which is down below near freshwater pools. Barnacle geese don't bring food to their goslings. Instead, they take their goslings to the food. And for these freshly hatched chicks, just hours old and unable to fly, there is only one way down. They'll have to jump. But not until the coast is clear. It's a harrowing journey for the chicks, but they'll only have to do this once. They won't return to the cliffs until they're adults. With the immediate danger gone, the chicks follow their parents' lead and take the plunge. It's not the most elegant descent. Their lives saved by their lightweight and feathery down. But the third chick wasn't paying close attention. And the neighbors have noticed. It's too late to save the straggler. The rest of the family take the opportunity to leap to safety. Of the 5 chicks that started, 4 were lucky to make it this far. Now, these young goslings need to take advantage of the short growing season ahead. The countdown to their autumn migration has already begun. In just 7 weeks, these chicks will be the same size as the adults and ready to make the 2,500-kilometer flight back to the Scottish coast. Back in Iceland, in their beachside den, 10 fox cubs still suckle on their exhausted mother. It's been nearly a week since her mate went missing. She's having to look after herself and her family alone. Desperate to replenish her energy in order to provide enough milk for her cubs, she is forced to leave her litter and venture out. Her passage through the landscape over the next few days is marked by tufts of her white winter fur. The Arctic fox has the most insulating coat of all mammals. It's essential to endure winter temperatures as low as minus 50 degrees Celsius. But with temperatures rising, the coat becomes a nuisance. The darker summer coat helps keep her cool and blend in with the surroundings. But today she can't afford to worry about comfort or stealth. It's food she's after. In Iceland, seabirds are a staple of the fox's diet, but there are very few on the vixen's territory. On the beach, the spring tide has been kind, delivering the meal she desperately needs. The fish will keep her and her cubs alive. But her feast will have to be cut short. She needs to get back to her family. There's an intruder prowling her territory. Food is more abundant in the northern reaches of Sweden. More than half of this land is dominated by forest, and 95,000 lakes feed a perfect green vista. High in the branches, 3 great grey owl chicks have hatched. These owls don't build their own homes. They prefer nests abandoned by other birds. The mother stands guard while the father hunts, returning with his spoils. One chick hatched several days later than the others. He's smaller and much weaker, and most in need of food. His mother tries to help, but his giant sibling gets the prize. Here, winner takes all. The next few days will be crucial. The little chick needs to fight hard to hold on to his life. While the owls stay in these forests all year round, this is only a stopover for migrating birds. A female golden-eyed duck. Like the great grey owl, this mother is exploiting someone else's hard work, a discarded woodpecker hollow. Living high off the ground, she keeps her eggs out of reach of raptors and bears. It's a safe, secure spot to nurture her clutch for the next month, until they're ready to hatch. For now, it's just a waiting game. As the season rolls on, days grow longer and the forests. Two of the great grey owl chicks are growing fast. The smallest and weakest couldn't compete with his stronger siblings, whose demands are growing greater by the day. Their parents are constantly on the hunt. The larger still gets fed first. The other must wait patiently for its turn. But the summer months are a time of abundance, and there's plenty to go around. By the lake, a female brown bear is coming to the end of her motherly duties. Her twins are now 3 years old and well prepared for life on their own. Their mother is ready to mate again. But the cubs are in no hurry to leave. A cool dip takes priority. With the twins occupied, their mother already has her eye on a possible suitor. After a little playing at hard to get, she gives in to his advances. With the formalities over, this male will assume her next litter of cubs will be his. But minutes later, another male graces the scene. Flirting results in another chance to mate. She willingly consents. She may have an ulterior motive for her promiscuous behavior. Each male may think he is the father of next year's cubs and won't attack them. There really is safety in numbers. And her day doesn't stop there. A brief encounter in the bushes brings her tally to 3. It's been a busy day at the lake. In the safety of their Finnish forest treehouse, the golden-eyed ducklings have at last made an appearance. After 30 days, all of the eggs have hatched. The nest is now busy and crowded. Their mother is never far away. What looks like a spring clean is a chance to re-ingest valuable nutrients from the calcium-rich eggshells. What their mother does next will present the ducklings with their first challenge. Still just hours old, they are programmed to follow her anywhere. It's all part of the plan. She's certainly not a careless mother. Like the barnacle geese, she just needs them to go with her to find food. But the nest is not quite empty. No one waits for the straggler. A little sustenance, and he takes the plunge. Against all odds, he catches up with the family. For the ducklings, it's quite an adventure. Their first swim and their first meal. To satisfy their appetite for aquatic insects and pond vegetation, foraging and diving appear to come naturally. Summertime in fox territory. The vixen is barely recognizable, having lost nearly all traces of her winter coat. Her mate never returned, so her search for food is relentless. Now 5 weeks old, her cubs have emerged from the den. Of the 10 in the litter, only 6 have survived. They've grown strong and healthy, but they're hungry. The older they become, the more insistent their need for milk and meat. They must grow up fast. Come autumn, the cubs will leave their mother to face the bitter Arctic winter alone. To add to the pressure, the strange male fox is still prowling her territory, watching the little family's every move. With no mate to help protect them, the mother does what she can to warn him off. For now, a display is enough. But the hungry cubs cannot be denied. She must hunt. The cubs are on their own. This is the moment the intruder's been waiting for. The cubs retreat to the den. But instinct is not enough to save them. When their mother returns, she is greeted only by silence and the scent of death. Among Arctic foxes, infanticide is rare. The killer is still lurking nearby. He may have wanted to reduce competition for food in the area, or he may want to claim the vixen as a mate next year. September brings shorter days and longer nights. Autumn has arrived. The race for survival is nearly run. In a few weeks, this land will be locked under the cover of ice. The muskox, Scandinavia's prehistoric giants, make the most of autumn's bounty. This year's calves have yet to face Scandinavia's worst weapon, the bitter winter. Before it arrives, Scandinavia reveals one final secret. It's mushroom time, and Norway offers a wide assortment. The landscape is transformed by rich fungal blooms. musk oxen continue to stock up vital reserves ahead of the scarcity of winter. Making their way back up to the mountains, they will face the worst of the coming season. With thick coats and full bellies, they're prepared to meet the challenge. For every creature, these final days of autumn are critical. Preparation is the key to surviving the harsh days ahead. Those that can't endure its hostility take autumn as their cue to leave. In the forests, things are growing quieter. Brown bears are getting ready to hibernate. This mother and her 3-year-old cubs feast on what remains of a dead elk. A lucky find in the forest and a last chance to see them through the worst of the winter. But there's competition for their spoils. At this time of year, nothing will go to waste. This year, the 3-year-old youngsters will den for the first time alone. This is probably the last meal they will share together. By now, they should have learned all they need to survive. This winter will be the proof. Young creatures that have thrived on summer's bounty should be well equipped to survive the long, hard winter. Some will sleep through it all. Others will have to wait it out, enduring until spring returns and the cycle begins again.